Hi, my name is Amit, and I'm going to talk to you today about chat robots. Now, chat robots are a computer program where you type your question or what you want to say, and the computer writes back to you like a person. This is actually a good thing when you want to practice for the IELTS Part 1 speaking. And I'll tell you why. It's because conversation is a natural thing. So there's one thing there. A conversation is back and forth, questions and answers. I say something, you say something, and I add something to what you said, but it's always taking turns. So we see that with a chatbot because we have a conversation. I once had a colleague who told his students, he said, "You are not a computer. You're not a computer." What he meant was you can't know all the answers to every question. But candidates sometimes try. They try to answer everything as if they know. Real people know that sometimes we don't know the answer to every question. And a chat robot certainly doesn't know the answer to every question. So when it doesn't know, it uses special English to manage that. And we're going to talk about this language. It's called vague language. Chat robots are available 24 hours a day. There is some negative to it. There's a negative side, and that's sometimes chat robots give bad answers or they give incorrect answers. So we're going to talk about all that, the good stuff and the bad stuff, on this video. Chatbot is short for chat robots. You're probably wondering, why would we use a chatbot to practice our IELTS answers? You'd be surprised what chatbots can do. They're programmed by people, so human beings supply the answers that chatbots give. So it's not like we're talking to a robot. There is that sort of stereotype about robots that, when you ask them a question, for example, they might answer and say, "I am a robot. My circuits are not prepared to handle this question." But actually, nothing could be further from the truth. They give these unpredictable, sometimes funny answers. So let's try and see how we can improve our IELTS answers by looking at what chatbots say. So all chatbots have two kinds of answers: programmed answers and random answers. A programmed answer is an answer which the programmer tells the chatbot to say. So if I ask the chatbot a question, say for example, "Do you like dessert?" Do you like dessert? Let's see. I guess. See? So here you have a vague answer. An answer like "I guess" is better than saying "no," because that doesn't sound like a person. That sounds more like robotic. "No, I don't." The reason why a chatbot programmer would want to use a vague answer is because chatbots can't know the answer to everything. You can ask a chatbot, "Do you like dessert?" And a programmer could very well program the chatbot to say, "Yes, I love chocolate cake." So every time you ask the question, "Do you like dessert?" the robot will sound smart and it'll say, "Yeah, I love chocolate cake," and that'll be great. But what if the user asks the robot a question that the robot doesn't know the answer to, like, "What's your favorite music?" Maybe the robot has no idea, and there's no answer programmed for that. So what happens when the robot doesn't know how to answer is it gives a random answer, and that answer is a one answer fits all answer. For example, "I'll listen to a little bit of everything," or "I'm not sure." Those answers, they don't say yes or no. They're deliberately vague. And the reason why that's good for us as IELTS candidates who want to study for the IELTS is because we also need to give those answers. During an IELTS test, we often don't know what the answer is. If an examiner asks us if we like perfume, we don't know anything about perfume. And rather than get stuck in a conversation about perfume, if we say, "I don't know anything about perfume," and the examiner asks me, "Why don't you know?" or "Why?" I'm stuck trying to explain myself about a difficult subject. So it's better if I give an answer that goes like, "I guess so," or "maybe sometimes," and end that question and move on to the next. You see? So that's the reason why chat robots are so useful. The first reason is because of vague language. They teach us how to use vague language in a natural setting, that is, in a conversation setting. Do you like sweets? I'm not sure. I get fat when I eat sweets. Do you like wearing jeans? I'm not sure. They look good, but they're uncomfortable. I noticed that a lot of candidates they say the same thing over and over again. They say, it depends, it depends. It would be good for the candidates to learn how to use, I'm not sure, and the other one, I guess. Here, what you see here is an answer which is vague. The first part is, to be honest, not really. That's a good answer, but I just vibe with what I hear. You feel me? One drawback of chat robots is that the language that's programmed there is whatever somebody wanted to say, and what the robot says might not be good for the IELTS test. So you should always ask somebody and never just take everything a chat robot says and repeat it during an interview. I'm definitely not telling you to do that. You should always make sure to ask another person, ask your teacher, ask somebody, a native speaker or whatever, because there are no rules. The programmer could tell the robot to say anything, and I mean anything, they want. So it's very important to check what the robot says before you say it to another person. So another good thing about chatbots is they never get bored. Like I say, you can ask a question again and again. I'm copying and pasting hello. Hello, how are you? How are you today? Hello, how are you today? Hello, how are you? So I keep saying hello and hello, hello. Let's ask Amit bot, my bot. Do you have a favorite book? I get this answer. Are you serious? And look at the emoji. Chatbots can show us how to show emotions. Chatbot uses an emoji, but we don't use emojis. We use our bodies. On the IELTS test, we use our hands, our faces, our eyes to communicate. So it seems ironic that we are learning about emotions from a chat robot. I mean, it's not even a real person. The person who programmed it put emojis in there. So that should talk to us. It should tell us that it is appropriate to use surprise. The main goal is to make the chatbot as natural as possible, as human-like as possible. We want to have a very human feel to these. And so that's precisely where these chatbots are going to have a benefit on you, the candidate. So as funny as it sounds, a chat robot can teach you how to produce natural-sounding answers. So I asked this chatbot, in what situations do people laugh? That's an IELTS question. And then the chatbot said, here is a joke. So the chatbot wanted to tell me a joke. When the examiner asks about laughing and smiling, this is an appropriate time to talk about jokes. So it's not always a good idea to talk about jokes. If the examiner asks a serious question, you cannot do this. But in this case, you can. So context is very important. Just a quick fourth benefit of chat robots is that you can learn popular culture. Look at a question here I asked. Do you have a favorite book? And the answer is 1984 by George Orwell, written in 1948. That's the type of thing which a lot of native speakers would know about. So as you can see, we're benefiting from the knowledge of sophisticated, maybe native speakers. This is something that the learner might never get. The candidate you might never get this at a training school because the teachers might also be not from the target culture. But the person who did this chat robot, I know for a fact, is from New Zealand. So you might be benefiting from that. One final thing I wanted to say about chatbots is that it's pretty hard to find a real live person to practice with. I mean, if you had a friend, would they come running over to your house to answer your questions over and over again? But a chatbot is there to answer those questions over and over again. So in the next video, maybe we'll talk about how to make your own chatbot, and then you could plug in all the answers to the IELTS questions. So when you do that, that's kind of preparing for the IELTS too, right? Because you're going over them in your brain. So that's all I have to say. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy.